Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Um, Good morning if you're in the if you're in Pacific time zone or Mountain, and good afternoon if you're in Eastern time zone. Welcome to this week's Leadership Zoom. I am over the moon excited. The lineup over the next couple weeks is just so good. And I love you guys. If you're just joining us for the first time, this Zoom is fire. It's really turned into my favorite Zoom because we get to hear from a different 200K every single week, and their story and their hurdles and their struggles and their successes, and know that we are not alone. I just love this Zoom so much. And I was just thinking about the fact that there are so many 200Ks in this company, and we wouldn't know a lot of their stories if it was not for this Zoom. So I'm just stinking grateful. And I've got a pretty awesome, ridiculous lineup going on for the next 2 months. I've already got the next 2 months filled. And I just wanted to throw out there that Maria Dillard, the top earner in Lavelle and our upline, she's going to be kicking us off the very first Tuesday in January. So mark your calendars for that. But I am so excited because today I have Tiffany Haggamaker on. And Tiffany, you're going to have to unmute yourself. Did I just say your last name right?
Yes, you said it correctly.
Yes. I didn't botch a last name. I'm usually messing up either the first or last name, so I'm super excited today. Yay. I am so excited to hear your story because, oops, sorry, got a call. I'm so excited to hear your story because I don't know it. And I get so excited for these Zooms because this is, I think you are the 100th 200K that I've actually interviewed in the company today. We're celebrating number 100. And I love this because I get to hear people's stories. Everybody on gets to hear your story, and it's just such a cool platform, and I cannot wait to hear yours today. I want to start with what you were doing before network marketing, like your background, give us a little bit of that. And then did you do any kind of network marketing before Lavelle? Um, and then how did you find Lavelle, and we'll kind of go from there.
Okay, so my background as far as like what I've done is pretty much I spent a lot of years figuring out what my passion was, what I was good at. I've had a lot of sales experience, a lot of office experience, but I never really found something that lit my fire. I had actually learned about network marketing before Lavelle came along. I was with a makeup company prior. I have always kind of been a go-getter, hustling, figuring out a way to make money, not having to work for somebody else. It's always been really important to me to be able to kind of pave my own way without somebody telling me what to do or how to do it. And I was with this makeup company, and I enjoyed it. I worked very hard and was not really rewarded, as now I know I should have been. And so I was probably doing that for about a year or so. My health kind of started declining in that year's time. And, I never really felt well. And in order to do makeup and go live and let people see you, doing your makeup, you have to feel good, and I didn't. And so a girl that introduced me to Thrive kind of was watching that journey and seeing me struggle and seeing me not feeling well, and reached out to me about Thrive. I ignored her for a good 4 months before, I finally agreed to a sample, and I fell in love with my sample, and that's kind of how I got introduced to Lavelle.
So once you got in, did you start as a customer? Did you jump right into the promoter thing? How did your sample go? Like, were you like, dang, this stuff's awesome, I'm jumping in? So what did your story kind of look like?
So my sample, I fell in love on the first day. I had spent many years going to different specialists and doctors, whatever I could do to feel better, and nobody had a solution for me. I was a day one thriver. I know we don't like to, say that, but I immediately was like, oh my gosh, like this is what I've been looking for. This is, what I've prayed for. And it just showed up in a really different package. And I, was broke at the time. I had less than $100 in my bank account, and I knew that I had to keep taking Thrive. It was something that my body, even in that 3 day span, like I knew I needed it. And I was told that I could Thrive for free as a customer or as a promoter, and the only difference was I would get paid for my referrals as a promoter. And like I said, I've always had a business mindset, and for me, it was a no-brainer. If I'm going to Thrive for free, I might as well get paid, and that's kind of how it all started. And then I just started sharing with everybody.
So let's talk a little bit about your time frame as far as your journey to 200K. When you came in, did you get your VIP bonuses? How long did it take to go 4K, 12K, 40, 80? I just kind of want people to see, the journey to 200K a little. Let's hear a little bit about that, and like, what did you achieve, all the way up to that time?
So like I said, I, just began sharing before my product ever even came in. I ordered the promoter upgrade to get enough, to sample people. People have kind of, just being in the previous company and me going live and kind of letting people into my world, they all kind of saw my struggle. I always like to say I was a hot mess, and people kind of watched the train wreck. And then once I started feeling better and I started posting about positive things, and I had samples that I was selling, because like I said, I financially couldn't afford it. I did just start enrolling people. I was able to hit my VIP 800. I did not hit VIP 1600. I achieved 4K in the first full month of promoting. And back then we had our iPad bonus, and I got our iPad bonus. I went 12K in my second full month. Um, and then fourth full month, I went 40K. Fifth full month, I went 80K. But this was like a little over 2 years ago, when some of you may know they did like a double volume for promoter packages. So a lot of that volume was false. And so it went, I hit 80 that 1 month, and it was a year before I actually like really hit 80 with my team from that point. And then in November of last year is when I hit 200. It's when they had the reset bonuses out. And we were able to achieve that. But I mean, it's been a journey, obviously, but it's also, a struggle to maintain that. It's one of those things. Yes, I'm a 200K. I know that I have a 200K team, but we don't always maintain those numbers. And that's just kind of the reality of it. But so I would say it was almost 3 years. Well, no, almost 2 years that it took me to get to 200.
I think there's a lot of people on here, a lot. At one point, my team had like 32 200Ks on it, and now I would say maybe there's 10, that actually hold that rank. This is common, and I think a lot of people think, oh my gosh, this is just me, it's so embarrassing, I don't want anyone to know. It's like, no, these things happen. Like, if anybody told you there was going to be a straight line to success and then you were just going to stay there, like, they lied to you. I always tell people that they were lying, because it's going to be, that up and down journey. It's going to look like, if you had a graph, and drew out what your business looked like, it's going to look up and down, up and down. I mean, it's going to look a little crazy. And the road to success is not easy. And, now that you've been in, how long have you been in now? 3 years?
Yes, 3 years.
So in that 3 years time, let's talk a little bit about, struggles. some things that you feel like, there's people on here, they feel like, oh my gosh, I'm red legged, or I lost rank and I'm never getting it back. Or there's people that maybe lost a 12K or a 40K, um, or they missed a bonus. Like all of these different things that we hit along the way, and we kind of think we're the only one. What are some of those things? And I know you kind of touched a little bit on it when you said that, that 200K has been a struggle. What, let's talk a little bit about whatever you want to talk about, whatever you want to be vulnerable about today.
You know, it's crazy because when you start, I kind of know that my success is up to me. I can't want it for other people. That was kind of in the beginning really hard for me because I saw what this company had to offer. I saw this opportunity, and some people would see it to their VIP bonuses, and then they would leave. Well, not leave, just not work for it. Because as y'all know, this is work. But you would kind of see people who like, oh, you hit 4K, you got your iPad bonus, and now you're done telling people about Thrive. Like, for me, Thrive changed my health and my life physically. Um, you know, at this point financially as well, the opportunity, but it's something that I searched for forever, to feel better, to feel good, and I knew what we had was gold. And so it just blew my mind. Like, people would come and then they would just quit talking about it. Like, how can you say it changed your life and then you just you don't tell anybody anymore? And so I've kind of had to learn that people are going to come and go. They're going to quit on you. It's important you don't quit on yourself. My success is up to me. Yes, I have an amazing team, but I can't make them want this. There's a really good YouTube clip, and it's called "Do Chickens Fly?" I can't remember who it was by, but if you search it, it's a brilliant analogy about running around, picking up chickens and throwing them up in the air, to see if they fly. And obviously, I have chickens, and they don't. I mean, they'll go up, but they come right back down. And it talks about if you spend all your time running around in circles, picking up chickens, here, chicken, go here. By the time you're over here helping this one's back down, and you're just running yourself to death. And it's a very good analogy about looking for the eagles, because eagles, they soar on their own. You don't have to pick them up and help them constantly. And so that was something that's really, really good, that I've watched and I relate to, because you will run yourself ragged if you are constantly, trying to make people want this. And so that's something that, I've kind of struggled with a little bit. I personally don't have a problem with worrying about what people think about me. I think that's probably one of the best things that I've done for myself, but it's one of the main things I hear from other people, as far as, oh, well, I don't want to keep posting about it because my friends, they're getting tired of seeing it. And it's like, first of all, you need to learn about your algorithms, because probably a lot of them aren't seeing it anyways. So that's another thing, side note. But it's like the same people aren't seeing it. And if you're not talking about it, I promise you, people are going to hear about Thrive from somebody else. And so that's kind of, I don't care what people think. I'm very transparent. I'm just kind of an open book. I always kind of have been. It took a while to get there, but I think a lot of people do struggle with that. But I would say not worrying about who's going and what other people are doing, just leading by example, is probably the best way to get through that. So I pretty much just went on a tangent, but yeah.
No, you're all good, girl. You can go on tangents all day long if you want to. I think that that is a struggle for so many people. I've been talking to a lot of people about that just lately going into the new year. Like, look, you've got to stop caring what other people think about you. And one of my favorite sayings is, imagine what you would achieve if you did not give a crap about what other people thought about you. Like, if you really think about that statement, it's crazy, because I think back on my life and I think, man, there's so many things I would have tried, There's so many things I just would have gone for. I just would have went for it. But I stopped myself because I'm like, "Oh my gosh, so and so is gonna think I'm crazy. So and so thinks I'm stupid. Oh my gosh, what is this person gonna think of me?" There's so many things in our lives that we just would try and do, and we wouldn't, and we'd get so much further, right? Imagine where our lives would be if we weren't so caring about, oh my gosh, what this person will say, what's this person going to think? It's so crazy. And as soon as you let that go, like you said, I mean, it's a journey. It doesn't happen overnight, but as soon as you can get to that place, man, it's amazing how things just open up for you. Do you feel like, you know, in your 3 years, do you feel like you've ever fallen into management mode, or do you feel like you watch people underneath of you do that? Because I feel like that's like the biggest trap with a lot of people is whether they might fly to 12K, they might fly to 40K, and then all of a sudden they stall out and they're like, what's going on? And when I look at like their business, a lot of those people fell into management mode. They're like trying to tell everybody else what to do, kind of like the chickens. Kind of like the chickens a little bit. They kind of all fell into management mode. And, they're trying to tell this one to do this and waiting for this person to do this. And it's kind of like one of the reasons I think a lot of people's businesses stall. Do you feel like you've ever fallen into that, or you watch people do that? Like, do you feel like that's a trap for you?
I don't know so much that I've fallen into that. I just usually try to lead by example. I think more of a struggle, like a trap that I fell into, was trying to fix something that wasn't broken, because I did run into the stall in my business. And what I mean by that is, like, yes, I very quickly, got to 40K. And then, like I said, I got to 80 off of what was a lot of false volume. And then I spent a year at 40, trying to get to 80. It's a big jump. But it was like, my goal never changed. However, I was like, okay, well, all the people, where are all the people? Like the new and the excitement of when I first started, and everybody rushing to me because they wanted what I had. And then all of a sudden it was like crickets. And I'm like, okay, well, what now? And I found myself trying to compare myself to other people. Like a new person would come in, I'd see them being successful, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe I should do that. And I fell into not being my authentic self, trying to be perfect and do I'm not an attraction marketer. I know it works for some people, but I fell into trying to be that. And it wasn't me. It wasn't my style. It didn't feel good. And so I would say that's probably the trap that I kind of fell into, was, changing what I was doing that was working just because I did run into a stall in my business, rather than, realize, yeah, your PPA is low this month, but it's going to bounce back up there. And it's kind of like, like we said, it's peaks and valleys. Success is not a straight up path. And for me, I just started trying to change things that really didn't need to be changed. And it just hurt my business more. So I had to get back to the basics, to what worked, to sharing my story, to, being loud and proud about the products. And that for me is kind of where I ran into trouble.
I think there's a lot of people that do that. They start going, "Oh, I should do what this person's doing and that person." And I can't like stress enough, if whatever you're doing is working for you, keep doing it. Like, don't change it. I think you really only need to change things up when, like you said, you're gonna hit some months, oh my gosh, my PPA is great. Some months it's horrible. But that's because some months you're doing a lot of planting seeds, and then there's months where now those seeds are starting to sprout. So, now they're starting to come out of the ground a little bit and ask questions and go, hey, I need that. But I think a lot of people start to question, wait a second, this was working for me. Now it's not working for me this month. No, if it was working, it's working. It's just you need to, you've got to be consistent with it. You can't all of a sudden go, oh crap, when it doesn't work for 1 month. You just have to trust the process. Now, I guess I would say there is like a time frame on that. Like if 4 or 5 months go by and it's not working anymore, sometimes it's not working anymore. Like, okay, it might be time to switch up some things. But at the end of the day, guys, if what you're doing is working, don't give up on it so easily if it doesn't work for a minute, because it usually will kick back in. Um, I kind of wanted to ask you too, what you do when you bring on a new team member, as far as like maybe those first couple weeks. Um, I always try to tell people, look, you even said, I got one of the VIP bonuses. You did not get both. I interview 200Ks all the time that didn't get either one of the VIP bonuses. And I think that a lot of people come in, they don't get their VIP bonuses, and then we don't hear from them again. I think they kind of think, oh my gosh, I suck at this, like I must not be good. And what they don't understand is a lot of people don't get those VIP bonuses. No, I mean, obviously we want them to. We want to try. We're obviously going to go after it. But what do you feel like you do, number one, to try to help them get those bonuses, but number two, to kind of ensure that they keep going when they don't get those bonuses, if they don't get those bonuses?
So whenever we have a new promoter, we always do a welcome call. I do it with my uplines, and we go over the bonuses. We kind of, let them ask questions and introduce everybody to each other. We have our team pages, our team chats, and that sort of thing, where they can ask questions and all that good stuff. Now, as far as VIP bonuses, when somebody comes in, it's really overwhelming, frankly. I remember I had a welcome call and I hardly even remembered, like, I know they told me about all these bonuses, but it went in one ear and out the other. And had my friend Heather not reached out to me and said, hey girl, this person didn't order on auto ship. You need this for your bonus. I wouldn't have known what I was doing. And so that's kind of, I just like to look at my VIP report. We all have it, and just see, who's there, whatever. I think when people come in, some people click the promoter button, and I don't know that they want it, but they don't want it. And so I think it has to do, again, back to the whole chicken and eagle thing. Some people just don't want to put in the work regardless. And we can only do so much. I try to help people think outside of the box as far as, who they can get as far as their auto ship customers to thrive for free, who to help them hit their VIPs and that kind of thing. But I think it's a lot of personality too. I think some people are made for this. I think some people really have that desire and that go-getter attitude. And then a lot of people have that I can't mentality, and a quitter mindset. And so I think it just really depends on the person. Again, you can only do so much. So as far as, what I do is communicate with them, see what their goals are, why they hit the promoter button, that sort of thing.
I'm sorry, I was talking and muted. I've done that a lot lately. I love that. And then I also wanted to ask you, and I hope people are taking note, because I don't know how many different 200Ks get on here and say, do a welcome call. Like, that just hit me today. How many 200Ks say that? And I think it's so crucial. And I know there's so many people that don't do that. And it could be a welcome message. It doesn't have to be a call, but get that new person in with other people immediately. Like, I think they need to know that they have other people besides the person that enrolled them and, invested too. And I know there's a lot of people that, new people are signing new people are signing new people. And so I know me, like, if I started something and I didn't know anyone else or where to go, I might go, well, I guess I'm not going to do this anymore. If the person that signed me quit, that's a, that might be something I might go, if I didn't get it yet, if it wasn't important to me, I would be like, oh, okay, I'll just quit too. Versus if I had like some other people that I had been talking to, I could go, okay, well, so and so that signed me isn't messaging me back, but I was putting a message with that, with that Tiffany chick. Let me go reach out to her. Like, I think they're more likely to do that because they know someone else at that point. and someone that they feel more comfortable reaching out to because they've actually had a conversation with them before. I think that is so crucial. And, I know on my own team, it's not done enough. I know it because then I'd be in messages all the time. I'd be on a welcome call and I'm not. So it's like, why aren't people doing these tips that we could get a different 200K on here every week saying the same things, yet people still sit back and they don't do it. It's like, wake up, everybody. Success leaves clues. So I hope that you guys took note of that, and that in the new year, that is something that everybody adopts, is doing that. Making sure that you're getting that brand new person in a message with 2, 3, 4. I mean, I don't think it hurts to do more than one person. Hello. I think that is so cool to have a lot of people saying, you got this. Like, we got your back and we believe in you and we're excited for you. Like, I think the more the merrier. So absolutely 100%. I hope everybody adopts that into their business for the new year. Um, how do you grow your network? Because you did mention, I kind of noticed in when you were talking earlier, you said that attraction marketing really isn't your jam. So talk a little bit about how you grow your network. How are you adding to, like, the people that you are able to connect with that are new? Because I know for me, like, Facebook groups is a huge way that I meet people. um Instagram really isn't my jam yet, but I'm trying. I'm trying. What and you've got to be, I mean, I think that's my biggest thing when I talk to people and they feel stuck and they're kind of like, Lisa, my business isn't growing, but I'm doing all the right things. When I really dig into what it is that they're not doing right, what I'll find is that they're not adding to their network. And if you're not adding to your network, if you're not letting new people all the time know about this product, that's going to be a struggle for you to grow in network marketing. So what are some tips you have for people that, that maybe likely you, that aren't great at attraction marketing, or it doesn't work for them?
So used to, I would just randomly add people all the time, and my people you may know. I didn't pay any attention at all to their page, their profile, if they were even really active much, nothing. Um, and that worked for a little while. I mean, some of them, obviously it worked, but um, I found that, well, before I go off on that, algorithms. I know I said it earlier. It is probably the biggest part of, you can't just add a bunch of people and not know what algorithms are on Facebook and how they work and how to work them to help your business. I promise you, you can have 5,000 friends, and if you don't use your algorithms to work it, you're only reaching about 10% of that, if even. When you see the same people's stuff over and over again, or you notice, like, hey, I commented on somebody's thing and now I'm seeing their stuff. That's kind of how algorithms work. I always, like, if I'm seeing a lot of the same people, I will go and just to my friends list and click on somebody's name and see when they posted something. So basically, algorithms, it tells Facebook who you interact with, who your friends really are. So like when you go in Messenger and you communicate with people in Messenger, Facebook then says, oh, they're really good friends. Let me show her more of this person's stuff. Same thing with, like, commenting on people's Facebook posts. Facebook sees that interaction and they're like, oh, well, those are people that they talk to all the time. So anyway, Google algorithms, study them, learn all you can about them. But so that's kind of, when I realized that, okay, well, now I've got nothing but thrivers here because I've been commenting on all my people's stuff. So that means that only thrivers are seeing my stuff. I had to either unfriend some of them, not my team, but just other thrivers from other teams, not to be ugly, but just because you can't be friends with a bunch of thrivers. That's not your market. If you can only have 5,000 friends on Facebook, and you don't want to fill all that space with other thrivers from other teams. So but I will go in my friends list, start at the A's, and go through. Some people, you'll notice they haven't posted anything for 6 months to a year. I'll unfriend those people unless it's like, family or whatever, because I'm looking to grow my network and keep those spots open, so to speak. So I'll go on there and I'll see, oh, well, they posted a Christmas picture the other day. I'll comment on that so that then Facebook's like, oh, they interact. And kind of change up my algorithms. As far as getting new people, so I was actually on the boot camp training that you did. I want to say it was this year. I'm pretty positive it was. Obviously, time runs together, but especially this year. But that's when I kind of was like, okay, I need my thing. Like, I need a hobby. I need something that I'm passionate about. So that I could go get in some groups, because like you just mentioned, you do that. That's something that I learned from that boot camp. And so I had to really like sit back, because honestly, I was like, I don't have a hobby. Like, I don't do, like, I don't have anything that I'm like super passionate about except for Thrive. And so, like, in the beginning of the whole quarantine thing, I decided, I had a rooster and some chickens, had about 5 hens. And I was like, okay, like, we're going to need something to do. We're going to be locked in the house. So I bought an incubator and started incubating chicken eggs. And so, needless to say, over this entire year, my farm has grown. We have every animal just about that you can think of. And I've joined a lot of like chicken groups and mini horse groups, and just all these. I found a hobby, basically. So I suggest finding a hobby for sure. That way you can go and join some of these groups. And then I just interact in the groups. Like, I'll make posts in the groups. I will comment on other people's stuff. And then typically, once I've had like a comment and then they've replied and I've replied, I will go and add them on my Facebook, and I know we have stuff in common. So then, I see them posting about, their chickens, their ducks, their rabbits, that kind of thing. And I'm able to interact with them. Not that make sure it's genuine. Like, I have a genuine care or curiosity, whatever, an interest about what they're talking about. I'm not putting on I'm not in a woodworking group pretending that I build things. You know what I mean? So make sure it's something that you're really passionate about, and get in there and build genuine connections, genuine friendships. This has been a hard year of going places, but I've, gone, and they have auctions and things like that. It's something that I enjoy doing, but I've also met people in the process. They've seen my DFT. And so those are seeds that I've been planting this whole year that are just now beginning to sprout. So that's what I would say. Don't be afraid to be loud and proud when you're in public with your DFT. I have mine on my hand today. You can't even see it. There we go. Because it's long sleeve shirt weather. I just make sure to wear it where people can see it when I'm out so that they can ask me about it. And a lot of times I will send somebody a friend request that I meet in public. I'm like, hey, are you on Facebook? And then I continue to build the relationship from there. So once again, I went on and on, but that's basically it.
No, you're right. And I think that there's a lot of people that, um, after I did that or talked about that in that boot camp, that messaged me going, Lisa, I don't have a thing. Like, Lavelle is my passion. That's it. I'm a mom. That's boring. Like, I'm like, you've got to dig. You know what I mean? Maybe it's something that you want to start getting into, or you want to start to get to, even if you have an interest in something, you can get in a group and start asking questions, right? Like, that's the thing, is I think some people really overthink it, and it freaks them out, right? They're like, this means that I have no life. Like, all I have is Lavelle. And I mean, let's be honest. Like, when I think about my life is 99% Lavelle. Like, it's really hard to think about, besides my kids, what do I do with my life besides Lavelle? But I dig, to get into these other groups, to, what are some interests that I have, or things that I want to get into in the future, or just causes. It could be things like that, you guys. So definitely, I think it's the key to expanding your network, especially during, a time like COVID, where we can't be out and about as much. But you are so right. Like, even if I have my DFT on my shoulder, and if I go out today and I have a sweater on, I'll slap one on my hand real quick. Like, I'm gonna make sure I'll have two DFTs on them, because I want to make sure that I'm exposing that to anyone that might see it that could go, what is that? I've had people like, ma'am, there's a sticker on you. And I'm like, oh no, I put that there on purpose. you know, like they'll be like, oh, what is it? Or that's even how I'll start a conversation. People won't even be looking at it. And I'll say to them, are you looking at this? And I'll point at it and they'll go, no, I wasn't, but what is it? And I'm like, oh, usually people are staring at it. That's why I thought you were. And then it's a gateway, just trying to figure out, you know, what your word is, like kind of like your elevator pitch, your 30-second commercial. Like, what is that couple sentences that you can say to somebody when they say, what is that? What's that thing? What's that sticker that you can pull people in? And, I've got, depending on my audience, if it's a guy, I might say something different than if it was a lady with 3 kids standing next to me. So have a couple things that you feel like, dude, if I said this, that's going to make that person go, okay, I want to know more. I need that. I need that in my life. I wanted to also ask you a little bit about kind of for the new year. I mean, I think COVID is, I think we're kind of all used to it at this point. Okay. Like it's here. It's not going anywhere. And hopefully this vaccine comes out and life gets a little bit more normal again. And, I hope, I know that is definitely, I think everybody's goal, right? Is let's get life back to some, normality. What are you and your team, or, what are you guys doing to prepare for the new year? What are you particularly doing to prepare your business for the new year? Like, I know the other day I was sitting down and I was kind of going through my messenger, and at the top of my messenger, I was putting in keywords that, like, I would say to a customer where any conversation I ever had in Messenger would pop up. So I could go, okay, who do I need to follow up with? I need to get this list together. Who's my people that as soon as Lavelle makes this huge announcement, whatever they're going to be announcing in January, who are the people that need to be on my list that I need to contact first? Like, I've kind of been in that kind of mode. What are some of the things you've been doing to kind of, get ready for the new year?
I'll say this year has been really interesting. Obviously, this is my 3 years. This year, it was 3 years, December 17th. And this year looked completely different than any other year, just like it has for y'all. Um, the not getting to go on any of our lifestyle getaways, not having Thrive Palooza. Those things I think are huge for our business. A lot of people may disagree. I don't know. But for me, people hearing me talk about the opportunity and saying, oh, we travel 3 times a year or whatever. And then we haven't, it's to me been like I hate it. So I'm so excited about February, praying that everything is still a go and we're able to actually go to Mexico. But I plan to obviously bring as many people with me as possible this coming up year on those trips. I I'm super excited about whatever it is they're announcing. I can't even wrap my head around what it might possibly be. I try not to get too caught up in that because I've done it many, many times of, oh, I bet it's this or I bet it's that. And I try not to focus too much. I just know that for me, I want to continue to add new people. I really want to focus on my personal business because I do have, a handful of leaders that I don't think are going anywhere. But everybody, some work harder this month and then the next month it's like, where'd you go, and so I focus on me, my personal business, getting myself to those trips so that people can see the opportunity that I talk about is a real opportunity. And then, just taking the people who want to go, you know what I mean? Bringing them, helping them learn about Facebook and how to grow their network. And, but again, you can only do so much for people. I want to focus on my personal business. I'm looking for people who are like-minded, who want this as bad as I do, who are presented an opportunity and they run with it themselves. I know I keep saying that, but I feel like I spent too much time worrying about what other people were doing, and not focusing enough on bringing new people in, that may take off with it. So for this upcoming year, my goal is to I want to bring in at least 2 new customers every month. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but some months it is. And 2 new promoters every month. So I'm so excited, just to kind of get some new stuff going, to get back out traveling. I do feel like, I know we keep saying, oh, it'll be back to normal soon. And here we are a year later almost. But I really do feel like we are going to get back to some sense of normalcy. And it will be easier, people will be able to get back to work and things like that. So my focus is just to stay positive and to keep, even if it doesn't get back to normal, to be a light in somebody's life. So for me, sharing Thrive and the Thrive experience is that light for a lot of people. So I will continue to share it.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that above all, everyone should be in overdrive when it comes to really building up their network, adding new people. Like, I want as many people as possible to be seeing the stuff I'm about to be posting come the new year, trips. And I think it's so important what you said too. Like, you cannot count on this leader or that leader or this team member to get you to that next rank or to this place, or you can count on you. And I think a lot of people get so stuck in that, you know, I know I get messages like this, and I'm sure you do too, Tiffany, where people are messaging you like, I don't know why my team's not working, or this person was doing this, and how do I make them do what they were doing before? And at the end of the day, all you can do is you only have control over what you're doing in your personal business. And all you can do is keep nudging people, keep nudging them a little bit. Hopefully they come along. But I love your chicken analogy. Like, I'm going to go look up that video because you're so right. Like, you cannot force anyone to fly. You just can't. They are going to do it on their own, or they're not. Sometimes I wonder what Lavelle would have to announce. Like, think about the things they've come out with since you've been in, like, for 3 years. It's like, what would they have to come out with or announce to make somebody go, oh my gosh, I think I'm ready to, like, be consistent with this and go all in. I mean, if it hasn't already been announced or done, I don't think anything is going to do it for you. Like, at this point, I don't think you just don't want to work at this point because, I mean, yes, are we waiting? I have a lot of people that will tell me, I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see what they announce. Why? Why are you waiting? Like, work it now. Like, just the possibility of those VIP bonuses and being able to offer people $1,300 in cash incentives and bonuses in 2 weeks. That's huge. I mean, I don't know any other company that does that. Just that in itself is absolutely an incredible thing. Um, are you big into self-development, dream boards and vision boards? And I mean, right now I'm kind of telling everybody, it's time. You've got to set your goals. You need a plan. Um, like time management, you need to figure out, this is when I'm going to work my business, like, even if it's in the nooks and crannies of your day. How are you with, like, IPAs and scheduling? Like, what's your jam? Are you totally one of those people that are put together with a calendar and all that? I'm I'm not. I'm not.
I would love to. Yeah. I would love to say that I am, but I'm also not. I am not a pen to paper kind of person. Everything's on my phone, my calendar's on my phone, my notes are on my phone. And that's kind of where it's the lifeblood of everything that I do. I wished that I could do the planner thing. I've tried it and that's just not my personality type. 5 4 3 2 1 is huge. I do think the longer that you do 5 4 3 2 1, the easier it is to just do it without even thinking about it. But of course, taking pen to paper with that to make sure you do it if you don't feel like you are. There are days where I'm like, you know what, I didn't do what I should have done. I think we all have those days. If you don't know what 5 4 3 2 1 is, reach out to your leader. It's in our back office, in our resources. And so that's pretty huge for me. I will say I'm big on vision boards. I probably need to update mine. I've I've been blessed with the team that I'm on, the leadership that I've had. We've done like some challenge groups where, for a month, there's a different challenge every day. It's a different kind of post or whatever to kind of help people know what to post. And there's days where you aren't going to feel good. You're going to get up and you're not going to feel like doing your 5 4 3 2 1. You're not going to feel like going and taking a cute picture. I have makeup on today because I'm on this Zoom. I don't have makeup on, which if you follow me, you see that I'm like messy hair, don't care, whatever, with no makeup. But when I do have makeup on, I take lots of pictures, and save them for later. If you're out doing something, take a picture and save it for the days that you don't feel like doing it. If you see like somebody, I'm all about like the inspirational memes. I post funny things. It's just kind of my personality. But when I see one, I save it. If I see something good that people that I follow in this business, like that they've posted, I will click the three little dots in the upper right hand corner on Facebook and I'll save it. And I have a Thrive folder. I have what I call a good posts folder, that on days where I'm not creative enough to come up with something, I can go back in there and like, ooh, this one was really good, tweak it, to fit me, use my own picture. But you don't have to be creative all the time. Like, it doesn't have to, on the days that you don't feel like yourself, or you're like, man, I just really don't feel like doing that, because believe me, we all have those days. You have to be disciplined enough to do it. I think that's kind of where the consistency and the discipline kind of comes into place. So once again, I went off on a thing, but so yes, vision boards are huge. I need to make mine. But back to the challenge group thing, that's one of the things that we did in the challenge group was make a vision board. So but anyway, I think I answered that, hopefully.
No, you did. And I love when you said you have like a folder. I do the same thing, you guys. That is such a, I hope like you guys all took note of that tip or wrote it down, because there's lots of days where I'm like, what, I don't know what to post today. Like I don't like have anything going on. I feel like I don't have the brain space to make a post. And that's exactly what I do too. When I see somebody else make a post and it has 100 likes, I'm like, okay, that's a good one. Save. I want to use that next week. Um, I mean, and I definitely do what you do. I make it my own, use my own picture, change up some wording a bit, because obviously the way, I say the word y'all like a lot, so I might put that in there instead of you. However, people will know that's you, right? Because if you're, taking someone else's posts, and you better pay attention. I've done that before where I copy and pasted something and it's talking about something that it's like, okay, that's, you should have, like, I did one the other day and I'm like, what a dummy. It said my husband. I don't have a husband. No, I don't have a husband. And everybody knows that. So they're going to know this is not my post. I had to like go back in after I reread it and like, oops, I need to edit that. But like, think about that stuff, because you want to make it you. And don't be afraid to do that, guys. Like, don't be afraid to, steal other people's stuff. I do it all the time. I think that it is genius, brilliant. If somebody else did it good, why do I need to why do I need to mess it up? And I think you also talked a lot. I mean, 5 4 3 2 1, you guys. 5 4 3 2 1 is going to keep you consistent. Is it going to grow your business to 200K overnight? No, but it's going to get you at least consistent with something. And that's what this is about, is being consistent every single day, no matter what. Having that simple system like 5 4 3 2 1, that even on the days where you don't feel like doing it, you have that go-to. Okay, I know I need to get this done. And I think that that is so huge. I mean, just, before 5 4 3 2 1, whatever I don't know what we did, but I'm glad that we have this little system now that at least it's the very least you need to be doing for your business every day is 5 4 3 2 1. Um, if you want to go fast, I always say change that 5 to a 10, that 4 to an 8, double, triple it. If you want to go fast, then adding to your network and growing your network is the key. 1000% it's the key. I wanted to also ask you, what are, besides 5 4 3 2 1, like when you are spending your day, like if you go through your day a little bit, and obviously 5 4 3 2 1, what are you personally, like, what's your kind of schedule look like? Like, what are you making sure that no matter what, I don't care how bad I'm feeling, these are things I do every day, no matter what, for my business, and that everybody needs to do?
So I'm very blessed. Well, I guess I said in the beginning, I've always been one to kind of work for myself, figure out a way. And so I haven't had like a job with a boss since I think 2014, I believe. I've been blessed. It's not been easy, but it's been a blessing. So the time freedom, I don't have to worry about, somebody telling me that I can't do something or whatever. And so I just make sure, um, at least once a day, whether it be in my story or on my Facebook, that I'm talking about Thrive. Like, not a day goes by that I don't at least post, a picture in my story with my DFT. And like, that's what I did while I was sitting here waiting for this to start. And just say, this little sticker has helped, which it's not a sticker, it's a DFT, but it's helped me get through my days without having to have coffee, energy drinks, and these whole tea bombs are a thing here right now. So I said, I threw that in there. They're like $8 a drink. And anyway, um, and so I always just make sure every single day that I have at least one thing Thrive related. You don't have to throw it up on people, but I at least make sure that it's in there, because if I'm not talking about it, they're going to see it from somebody else. Plus, I want them to see that I'm consistent. So I'm more of a evening, nighttime person. You have to kind of figure out your network, and I always get my most interaction in the evening, like the afternoon evening time. And so that's kind of when I post a lot of my stuff. I usually try to do something in the morning Thrive related, and then I do a lot of my posting, my interacting, my reach outs, things like that in the evening. So you definitely have to pay attention to, and it's just trial and error. Like, if you post something and 4 people liked it, then maybe you should think about posting at a different time. And so I just make sure at least once a day talk about Thrive. Whether, like I said, in your story, on your page, I try to make it personal. And you don't even have to talk about Thrive. Just have a picture of you or whatever you're doing, and your DFT just happens to be in it, just to where people are seeing that, oh, she's still taking that. I can promise you not a single person on my Facebook page or in my life questions whether or not I took my Thrive in the mornings. And so if you're at a point of that, definitely need to reevaluate. But that's pretty much for me. I don't have a set schedule. I just know what to get done. I make sure I get it done before I go to bed. And that's just kind of what works for me. Like I said, I'm not a calendar in front of me person, but I am a get it, oh, wow, I haven't done this today, and I'll just get it done. So.
No, perfect. And you don't have to be. I think everybody thinks you've got to be this organized, you can't compare. Do you feel like that was going to bring me to my last question with you is, I think so many people get stuck in the comparison game, and, like they'll watch someone else and go, man, they've got it together. I did it a lot. I'd be like, how can I want to be as organized as, my friend Stacy. Like, why can't I be that organized? Or why don't I know, where to find this report in the cloud office? Like, I'm the worst at the cloud office. It's horrible. But like, I would do a lot of comparing, and it's crazy because you learn that it really does, if you think about comparing, it really does kind of stall you, because you're so worried about, how can I be like this other person or do what they're doing, or how do I, you're kind of like all these things that it's kind of I don't know, keeping you right where you are. It's like you're not moving forward. And we actually did a morning Zoom the other day, where we talked a little bit about our strengths and weaknesses. Like, obviously, there's things you want to get better at. Obviously, there's things that you're just never going to be good at. Like, I'm never, ever, no matter how hard I try, I'm not going to be the organized, crazy person. I'm just not going to be. But what I have done over the last 10 years is I've found a way that works for me. And I think that that is what keeps me, moving forward, is that, I do try to improve, but at the end of the day, coming into the new year, I'm going to really focus on my strengths. Like, what am I good at? That's what I'm going to be doing. And then, when we slow down a little bit, then maybe I'll work on something that I'm not so good at. But deciding to, like, you know, go on Instagram and learn it if you've never done it before, January 1st is probably not the best idea in the world. Like, wait until we're slow. Don't do it in our busy season. But what do you feel like, I guess, how do you not fall into that place of comparing yourself and getting stuck and not falling into a management mode? Or how do you kind of keep yourself to where you are excited and growing and not getting distracted by all of these other things?
Um, like I kind of talked about earlier, I did fall into that. Now, like I said, it's been 3 years now. But there was a time that I hit the stall in my business, and then I started looking around rather than inward. And I'm like, okay, well, this person's doing this, and she's got all these new people jumping on, and well, what about her? And so I kind of started trying to change what I was doing, how I was doing it. I mentioned attraction marketing isn't for me. I tried doing that. And it's just not me. It's just not my personality. And so now, because I watched myself get in that, and I watched my business stall even further, because then it's like I'm having to recreate. It was just awful. Just don't do it. Recreate what was originally working. I found myself like, okay, well, now I'm even further behind. Had I just kept my foot on the gas and kept doing what I was doing, people would have come around. And so now I don't really have a whole lot of trouble doing that, because I know how bad my business will suffer. I know you mentioned like January being our busy season. I think a lot of people, it's not really talked about a whole lot. But the last few months, like November, December, are typically not like super crazy busy months for people. I did hit 200K in November of 2019. Due to there was all these bonuses out, and so everybody was running and working and going crazy, and then half those people aren't doing anything anymore. And so it's just know that you're going to have slow times, but don't stop. Don't think that what you're doing isn't working. Keep doing your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep posting and sharing about what Thrive has done for you. I fell in love with the product. The opportunity has just been a bonus for me. But I'm very passionate about our product. I know that it works. It's easy for me to promote it because of what it's done for me in my life. And for me, I'm not going anywhere. I know some people, they chase the opportunity, and if you don't work hard where you're at, you're not going to be successful somewhere else either. So but yeah, I would say seeing my business fail when I tried to compare myself and change who I was, I just won't fall back into that again.
You said it so very well. Like, I couldn't have ended this any better. Like, if you are not doing it here, if you're failing here, you're going to fail somewhere else. If you weren't consistent here, why would you be consistent anywhere else? Like, I don't understand. Here's the thing. We know the product works, right? Go to the fan page and read the hundreds of thousands of stories of people that are seeing results from the product. We know that the comp plan is amazing because there are new 200Ks popping up every month. We know it's new 12Ks, new 40Ks. We know we have an amazing compensation plan. So you have to kind of go inward and go, why am I not growing? If these people are growing, what is it that I'm not doing? And I can tell you right now, guys, it's either that you just haven't given it enough time, or you just haven't been consistent, right? I mean, it takes time to grow a business. It takes consistency, it takes hard work, it takes dedication. And if you've been in a couple years, you've got to ask yourself, if you're on this Zoom today and you've been in a couple years and maybe you have not signed your first person yet, you've got to inwardly ask yourself, what are the things that I need to do in 2021 that I have not stepped out of my comfort zone and done yet? I've got to push past that, because you're not going to find a magical company somewhere else that are going to um, be void of all the things that you need to do, right? That because the effort, the consistency, and the things you have to do to grow a business are the same in every business, right? So you're gonna have to figure out, what do I need to do to push out of that comfort zone? And you're so right. You take you with you wherever you go. And it's about kind of looking inward and figuring out what you need to do to make 21 different than 20, to improve. And over the last 10 years that I've been doing this business, it's crazy because I have learned that I'm constantly pushing myself out of that comfort zone. And that is where all of the goodness happens. That's usually where I see growth. And it's when I stay in that complacent place where I'm not, doing anything different, new, where I'm kind of refusing to, you know, refusing to like push myself to do live videos, right? Like, I got out of that and I noticed a huge difference in my business. So, what works, guys. You get on these Zooms every week and you hear from these amazing 200Ks, and all their stories are different and their struggles may be different. But if you listen, a lot of what they say, it's the same things over and over again every week. And success leaves clues. It's the things you need to be doing to grow this business. I mean, Tiffany talked about it today, 5 4 3 2 1. We hear that almost every week. We hear, make sure you put your new people in a 3-way caller message. We hear that almost every week. We hear, make sure that you're consistent. Don't compare. I mean, we hear these same things, and you have to at some point go, okay, wake up. It's time to listen. It's time to listen. You guys, we just got paid. I super excited. I always love Tuesdays because we get paid twice. Once, obviously through our paycheck, and then twice because we get to hear an awesome 200K like Tiffany share their story and their tips. Tiffany, I want to thank you so much for hopping on with us this Tuesday and spending the last hour with us and just sharing your heart and your tips and all of your goodness. We appreciate you so, so much. You guys, I have this recorded. So once the recording is downloaded, Deanie will get that out, and if you guys watch for it, get it out to your team and make sure they're listening in. And one of my biggest tips I can leave you guys with is plug in, find a couple Zooms every week that's your jam. Those are the ones you listen to, and be consistent with it, even if it's with the recording, because these are the things where you're going to learn those little tips, where you're going to hear something that resonates with you, and it's going to keep you really motivated. That's what keeps me motivated and plugging in right now more than ever, especially in the beginning of a new year. Is we're coming into February, really starts the beginning of the craziness, and January is a great month to start really building up your momentum, and getting on Zooms like this is so huge. Tiffany, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank
Thanks,
you for having
guys. Thanks all of you for getting on. And we'll see you next Tuesday, same time, same place. Our first Tuesday of the new year with Maria Dillard. That is going to be a bomb Zoom. You guys, this link every week, so save it. Save this in your phone, set an alarm, be on, be there, or be square. You are not going to want to miss next Tuesday's Zoom. It's going to be fire. I appreciate you. We just had our year, the new year, this old year, crappy year. Thank God it's almost over. We're almost at the promised land, guys. And I have a feeling 21 is going to be an amazing year for a lot of you. So I can't wait to see you guys next week. Thanks, guys. Have a happy new year.